So this is the first whiskey review of this entire channel. What whiskey am I going to review? I don't know, let's find out. I'm trying to clear my palate a little bit first though, to clear some of the lingering flavors that I might have, because I had a burger and some fries. It was alright. Not the best I've ever had. Okay, Laphroaig 10. That's a heck of a whiskey to start off with. It is a Islay single malt Scotch whiskey, aged 10 years. The 10 years, if you don't know, simply means that every whiskey barrel that's in here is at least 10 years old. So there could be some 11-year-old whiskeys barrels in here. They're all Laphroaig 10 though, or they're all Laphroaig. It's all this flavor profile, but it could be 11 years, but it's at least 10 years old. So this, if you get this, it is on the container is described as kissing a mermaid who had barbecue for dinner, or something like that. And they are not kidding. As you can tell, I have opened this bottle and sampled the goods. Let's pour some of it. This is a very sexy bottle. It's a beautiful green. And, oh, you may be wondering why I'm using the Glencairn glass. It is the official whiskey nosing tasting glass. It is, why I'm using it is because when you're nosing the whiskey, as such, not like this, get your nose in there, you get a lot of the aromas. I use the tasting glasses that they give at tours sometimes. They're like a big shot glass. At least the one I went to today was. It was a Sagamore distillery in Maryland. It allows too much of the aroma to go past your nose, so it's not ideal for really evaluating the whiskey. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason it's a sexy glass. Look at that. That just makes you feel good when you're tasting it. At least it makes me feel good. Let's get into this. And immediately, when you open the bottle, you get barbecue smoke. If you've ever had smoked brisket, that's exactly what this smells like. That's a fairly hefty pour, especially for just a review, but I like my whiskey. Let's get into this. Right away, smoke. That's all you get. This whiskey is a very heavily peated whiskey. Peat smoke is, I'm not 100% sure what that is. Again, I'm not a professional, but peat smoke is the type of wood that they have, and peat is that they use in, it's the type of wood they use in the barrel. Peat is a very strong flavor, and it's a very strong aroma. And what's really interesting is you get a little bit of fatty notes. Like if you've had the smoked brisket, you can smell the fat content. It's salty, it's kind of buttery, but it just smells like smoked brisket to me. And a tip for nosing: when you nose like this, don't keep your mouth closed. It really hinders how you can. It really hinders your sense of smell. If you've ever driven with a car door down, or not car door, the window down on one side, and you get that sound in there, that's kind of what it does with the pressure. This allows the flavor to go over your nose and over your tongue, and you get a much accurate nosing that way. Okay, let's taste it. Right away you get the heavy meat, the meat flavors. You get the grease, you get the fatty, you get the salt content from the fat. You get a little bit of a metallic taste, like from what the blood would give the meat. You get like a kind of like a hickory smoke, but not that sweet. But it just leaves you with this sensation in the back of your throat, kind of upwards, that you would get from having a really heavily smoked barbecue dinner. It's very dry. I'm not 100% sure, but this, you can tell by the legs on the glass that I'm not sure. I don't think this has a very high oil content. And if it has a high oil content, the flavor lingers for a lot longer. But since this is such an aromatic whiskey, the flavor is going to linger for a long time. When you take a sip of this and you just use the tip of your tongue to taste, you can get some sweetness in there. It's kind of like honey. It's not a pure sugar cane kind of sweetness. It's kind of like a natural sweetness. You can maybe get a little bit of vanilla, but not that much. Oh, but this is a lovely whiskey. But Laphroaig 10, it is delicious. If you're someone who really enjoys barbecue, you smoke maybe, you like cigars, you like that leather smell of new leather. If you're one of those people, you will love this whiskey. It is fantastic. You don't get a really strong ethanol alcohol flavor to it, and when you smell it, just like that. See, I'm not doing this. I did that with the bottle just because you can't get your nose in a bottle. And don't just nose in the same spot. The side, one nostril, the other one, the top of the glass, the bottom of the glass. Just really explore the whiskey. Because when you're tasting something like this, your goal isn't to drink as much as you can. Your goal isn't to taste it as fast as you can. It's an experience. Like whenever you drink it, roll it over your tongue. Let it pass over your tongue. From the back, the back part of your tongue, use those taste buds. Push it to the front, use those taste buds, because you can taste different things with different sections of your tongue. And then allow yourself to appreciate those flavors. Note some specific things if you can. If you can't, that's fine. But you want an experience. Because these whiskeys are professionally and masterfully crafted for a specific flavor profile. Whiskey is pretty much an art. So, if you are someone who loves paintings, you're not going to look at... Because I'm not a person who enjoys looking at paintings. So this is different from you. But if you really enjoy paintings, you're not going to look at a painting for just a second and go, okay, that's cool, and then move on. You're going to note some things. You're going to really inspect it. Look at maybe some of the color schemes. I don't know. Whatever you look at in paintings. You're going to examine it, and it's going to be a good experience for you, or a bad one. Whatever you're looking at, and whatever your preferences are. But if you enjoy a certain type of music, or you really appreciate something like that, it's not just a short little thing that you do. It's an experience that you want to have, you hopefully want to share, or it's a bad experience and you're going to say, don't try that, don't look at that, don't go there. But for this, I would say if you like the floral, sweet, fruity whiskeys, this probably isn't for you. And if you've never had Laphroaig 10 or a really peaty Isla whiskey, be careful, because if you're not prepared for the smoky notes and the smoky aroma, it will knock you off your feet. But like I said, this is a lovely whiskey, a sexy glass, a sexy bottle with a sexy glass. But it's wonderful. So this is my first whiskey review. Hopefully this has helped you. If you've never had Laphroaig, I would suggest you try it. If you've never had any whiskey before, probably don't start on this one. Start with something a little bit friendlier. But if you like really dark, smoky flavors, this is for you. So, I don't know. Let's see what you guys think of this. Let me know if you like it, and let me know what you want me to change. Alright.